Have you ever wondered why your blood sugar keeps spiking, even when you stay away from candy, soda, and desserts? Maybe you still feel tired after meals, your vision gets blurry, or your hands tingle, and you blame it on just getting older. The truth is, it's not just age. These are red flags of hidden blood sugar damage, slowly wearing down your heart, your kidneys, and even your brain, day after day. And here's the shocking part. One of the biggest blood sugar triggers may be sitting right on your plate right now, disguised as a so-called healthy vegetable. Doctors rarely talk about it, but science shows it can quietly push your glucose higher and weaken insulin sensitivity. But here's the good news. You don't need more pills, injections, or expensive treatments. Real control starts with the foods you eat every day. By avoiding certain vegetables that spike blood sugar and focusing on safe, diabetes-friendly foods, you can protect your energy, your heart, and your future. In today's video, I'll reveal the most dangerous vegetable for blood sugar, explain why it spikes glucose, and show you other common healthy foods that secretly harm insulin, plus safe alternatives backed by science. Stay with me until the end because the last hidden food on this list is the most surprising of all, even worse than the vegetable everyone thinks is safe. Before we dive in, I'd love to know what's the one food that shocked you the most when it spiked your blood sugar. Share your experience in the comments because your story could help someone else watching today. 1. Industrialized chocolate drinks. We've talked about how blood sugar spikes can sneak up on you, but let's look at a real-life example of how it happens. Think about those industrialized chocolate drinks many of us grew up with. They're sold as quick, tasty, even healthy options for breakfast or snacks. But behind the sweet taste lies a serious problem. Most of these drinks are made almost entirely of sugar, with very little real cocoa. That means the body absorbs them fast, causing a dangerous surge in blood glucose. Your pancreas is forced to pump out extra insulin over and over again just to keep up. Over time, this constant demand makes your cells resistant, pushing you closer to type 2 diabetes. And it doesn't stop there. Many of these drinks are loaded with high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners, which quietly damage your metabolism and weaken insulin sensitivity. I know it's hard because these drinks often come with bright labels and promises of vitamins or energy. But the truth is, the cocoa content is so low you get almost none of its antioxidant benefits. When combined with milk's natural sugar, lactose, the glycemic impact is even worse, leaving you drained, hungry again, and stuck in a cycle of spikes and crashes. To make matters worse, hydrogenated fats inside these drinks raise bad cholesterol, harming your heart, while artificial additives can trigger mood swings or allergies. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Many people don't realize these innocent chocolate drinks are quietly setting the stage for serious problems. But here's the empowering part. You do have a choice. A healthier swap is pure cocoa powder mixed with water or milk alternatives, lightly sweetened with stevia or even a small touch of honey. That way, you keep the antioxidants while lowering the glycemic load, protecting both your blood sugar and your long-term health. And this is just one example, because if something as simple as a chocolate drink can do this much damage, imagine what happens with certain vegetables we eat every day, one of which is the most dangerous for blood sugar. Let's uncover it next. 2. Energy drinks. We've seen how something as simple as a chocolate drink can harm your blood sugar, but let's move to another hidden danger: energy drinks. Many people turn to them for a quick boost, especially when they feel drained. On the surface, it feels like a harmless solution. But beneath the label, they carry a heavy load of sugar and caffeine that shocks your body in ways most people don't realize. Here's why. That combination of sugar and caffeine creates an immediate spike in blood glucose, forcing your pancreas to work overtime. It doesn't stop there. This sudden surge also makes your cells less responsive to insulin, a condition we call insulin resistance. And while some might think sugar-free versions are safer, studies show that artificial sweeteners like sucralose can disrupt gut bacteria, further impairing how your body handles glucose. The impact goes far beyond blood sugar. The caffeine and sugar combo raises blood pressure, accelerates heart rate, and fuels inflammation that chips away at your health over time. Drink them often, and you're also stressing your liver, with fat buildup, inching closer to diabetes. And if mixed with alcohol, the metabolic stress multiplies. Additives like taurine and guarana may sound impressive, but in reality they overstimulate your nervous system, disturbing sleep and throwing your hormones out of balance. I know energy drinks promise quick energy, and when you're tired it feels like a lifeline, but the truth is, they're pulling you deeper into a cycle of fatigue, cravings, and rising health risks. The better way is simpler. Natural caffeine sources like black coffee or green tea, paired with a balanced diet, give you steady energy without the crash, protecting your metabolism instead of harming it. And if energy drinks, so widely accepted and even marketed as performance boosters, can do this much damage, imagine the effect of a vegetable you probably eat often, one that's even more dangerous for blood sugar. Let's uncover it in the next section. 3. Hamburger and hot dog buns. We've looked at how sugary drinks and energy boosters can harm your health, but the problem doesn't stop with what you sip. Let's talk about something many people enjoy at cookouts or quick meals: hamburger and hot dog buns. On the surface, they look like simple bread, but inside your body they act very differently. Here's why. These buns are usually made from refined white flour, which has a high glycemic index. That means your body digests them fast, causing a sharp spike in blood sugar. To make things worse, most are packed with added sugars and refined oils, both of which fuel inflammation and accelerate insulin resistance. But the real issue is what's missing. These buns lack fiber and protein, so they don't keep you full for long. You might feel satisfied for a short while, but soon your hunger returns, leading you to eat more and push your blood sugar even higher. And when you pair these buns with processed fillings like fatty burgers or hot dogs, it becomes a metabolic perfect storm. Fast carbs, unhealthy fats, and excess calories all working against you. I understand the comfort these foods bring. Sharing burgers or hot dogs with family feels like tradition, like a moment of joy. But the truth is, behind that tradition lies a hidden cost: rising blood sugar, more belly fat, and an increased risk of diabetes complications. The hopeful part is, you're not stuck with this cycle. Healthier swaps exist, like whole grain sourdough or low glycemic wraps. These provide fiber, slow down digestion, and help you enjoy meals without sending your glucose on a roller coaster. And if something as common as a burger bun can silently raise your risk, what about a vegetable most people think is healthy, but is actually the most dangerous for blood sugar? That's exactly what we'll uncover in the next part. 4. Ready-made sauces. We've talked about bread and buns, but let's not forget what often goes on top of them: sauces. Ready-made sauces like ketchup or barbecue sauce seem harmless, just a spoonful to add flavor. But inside your body, they can cause more trouble than you think. Here's why. Most of these sauces are loaded with sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Even a small serving can send your blood sugar soaring and add fat to your liver over time. On top of that, they're often packed with sodium, which raises blood pressure, and filled with artificial additives that disrupt the good bacteria in your gut, fueling inflammation. The tricky part is how easy it is to underestimate them. Just one squeeze on your burger or fries adds hidden sugar you don't notice, especially dangerous when paired with high-carb foods. Instead of supporting your health, these sauces quietly make blood sugar control harder and increase your cravings, trapping you in a cycle that feels impossible to break. I know how much comfort these sauces bring. They remind us of family barbecues, quick meals, or childhood favorites. But the truth is, the sweetness comes at a cost: spikes in glucose, extra belly fat, and long-term strain on your heart and metabolism. The good news is, there's a way out. Homemade options with fresh tomatoes, a splash of olive oil, or even simple condiments like mustard bring flavor without destroying your health. Small changes like this can make a big difference. And if something as small as a sauce can have this much hidden sugar, imagine the damage from a vegetable many people consider healthy, but is actually the most dangerous for blood sugar. Let's reveal it next. 5. Sugary breakfast cereals. After sauces, let's move to something many families rely on every morning: breakfast cereals. They're often sold as healthy starts to the day, especially for kids. But when you look closely, most of them are far from healthy. Here's why. Sugary cereals are usually made from refined flour and packed with added sugar. That combination digests fast, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar and forcing your pancreas to release a surge of insulin. And because they're so low in fiber, you don't stay full for long. You eat more, and your glucose levels rise again. The hidden danger is how these cereals train your taste buds. Many children's cereals are loaded with artificial flavors and colors, conditioning young palates to crave sweetness. That makes it harder, later in life, to enjoy natural, less sugary foods, locking people into a lifelong struggle with cravings and unstable blood sugar. I know breakfast feels like a ritual. Sharing a quick bowl of cereal before work or school can be comforting and convenient. But the truth is, those bright and fun boxes are setting you up for mid-morning crashes, overeating, and eventually insulin resistance. The hope is, you can change it. Whole oats, homemade granola, or low glycemic mixes with nuts, seeds, and a touch of fruit give real nutrition and steady energy without the sugar roller coaster. And if something as simple as cereal, marketed as healthy, can quietly harm your blood sugar, imagine the real danger of a vegetable that most people believe is safe, but is actually the worst for diabetics. Let's finally uncover it in the next part. 6. Fast food. We've seen how sugary cereals can trick us in the morning, but what about the meals we often grab on busy days? Fast food may feel like a quick solution when life gets hectic, but inside your body it creates more problems than convenience. Here's why. Fast food meals are usually packed with simple carbs, unhealthy fats, and excess sodium. That combination causes your blood sugar to rise quickly, then crash just as fast. On top of that, many chains reuse vegetable oils over and over again, creating toxic compounds that worsen insulin sensitivity and fuel inflammation. The real danger is how these meals leave you feeling. They're low in fiber, so you don't stay satisfied for long. You eat more, gain weight, and end up stuck in a cycle of hunger and cravings. And while the flavors might bring comfort or nostalgia, the truth is they quietly push your blood sugar higher and strain your heart and metabolism every single time. I know fast food feels unavoidable sometimes. We all want something quick, and sharing a meal with friends or family can feel joyful. But you do have choices. Cooking simple meals at home with whole ingredients gives your body steady energy. And if fast food is the only option, limiting it to rare occasions, skipping the soda, and choosing water can make a real difference. And if fast food, something so common in our daily lives, can quietly damage your blood sugar, imagine the impact of a vegetable many people think is healthy, but is actually the most dangerous for diabetics. That's exactly what we'll reveal in the next section. 7. Pizza. We've talked about fast food in general, but one item deserves its own spotlight: pizza. It's a food many people love, often tied to family nights, celebrations, or comfort after a long day. But when it comes to blood sugar, pizza can be more harmful than it looks. Here's why. Most pizzas are made with a crust of refined white flour. That crust digests fast, sending blood sugar soaring. Add to that the sugary sauces and processed toppings filled with sodium and saturated fats, and you've got a meal that not only spikes glucose, but also fuels inflammation and insulin resistance. The tricky part is that pizza feels satisfying in the moment, yet its low fiber content means the fullness doesn't last. Soon after eating, hunger returns, leading to overeating and another round of glucose swings. Over time, this cycle takes a toll on your metabolism, your waistline, and your ability to manage diabetes. I know pizza is more than food. It's connection, comfort, even tradition. That's why it's so hard to give up. But small shifts can make a real difference. Choosing whole grain or sourdough crusts, Making sauces at home and loading up on fresh vegetables keeps flavor alive while lowering the glycemic impact. Pairing pizza with a salad or limiting portions can help you enjoy it without as much damage. And yet, as harmful as pizza can be, it's still not the biggest threat. Because there's one vegetable, yes, a vegetable, that most people think is healthy, but is actually the most dangerous food for blood sugar. Let's reveal it next. 8. Sugary granola. We've just seen how pizza can quietly push blood sugar higher, but another food often slips under the radar. Granola. With its shiny packaging and healthy label, many people trust it as a safe breakfast or snack. But not all granola is created equal. Here's why. Most industrial granolas are loaded with sugar, refined oils, and artificial ingredients. That means instead of giving your body steady fuel, they act more like a dessert, causing sharp spikes in blood sugar and feeding inflammation in your cells. The refined oils worsen insulin sensitivity, while the hidden sugars leave you hungry again just a short time later. The hardest part is that granola feels like a smart choice. You grab it thinking you're taking care of yourself, or even protecting your family. But the truth is, many of these products trick us, giving only the image of health, while silently working against blood sugar control. The good news is, there's a better way. Homemade granola with whole oats, seeds, nuts, and natural sweeteners like stevia or a drizzle of honey can truly support your health. It provides fiber, slows digestion, and keeps you fuller longer while still giving that satisfying crunch. This isn't about giving up the foods you love. It's about choosing versions that love your body back. And yet, if something as simple as granola can mislead us this way, imagine the shock when you find out there's one vegetable, commonly seen as harmless, that is actually the most dangerous for blood sugar. Let's uncover it in the next section. 9. Industrialized cakes and pies. After granola, let's talk about another sweet trap many of us can't resist: cakes and pies. They often show up at birthdays, family gatherings, or even as a small treat after dinner. On the outside, they feel like moments of joy, but inside your body, the effect is very different. Here's why. Industrial cakes and pies are usually made with refined white flour, loads of sugar, and hydrogenated fats. This combination digests quickly, sending your blood sugar soaring while forcing your pancreas to flood your body with insulin. Over time, this cycle wears down your cells, pushing you toward insulin resistance. The bigger issue is what they lack: fiber and protein. Without those, your body doesn't stay full. You eat a slice, feel satisfied for a short while, but hunger comes back quickly, leading to more snacking and even more blood sugar spikes. These processed desserts create a roller coaster of energy highs and crashes that silently damage your metabolism. I know these foods are tied to celebration and comfort. They bring back childhood memories, warm moments with family, or simply a sense of reward at the end of a hard day. That's what makes them so hard to let go. But you don't have to give them up completely. You can transform them. Homemade versions with whole grains, natural sweeteners, and healthier fats give you the taste you love while reducing harm to your blood sugar. And yet, if cakes and pies, clearly desserts, can cause this much trouble, imagine the surprise when we reveal that even a vegetable, often seen as healthy, can be the most dangerous food for blood sugar. Let's uncover it in the next section. 10. Industrialized ice cream. After cakes and pies, let's move to another favorite treat: ice cream. For many, it's the taste of summer, comfort after a long day, or a way to celebrate with loved ones. But when it comes to blood sugar, industrial ice cream can do more harm than you realize. Here's why. Most commercial ice creams are packed with refined sugar, saturated fats, and artificial additives. That combination causes sharp glucose spikes, forcing your body to release large amounts of insulin. Over time, this constant demand increases inflammation, weakens insulin sensitivity, and raises the risk of type 2 diabetes. The problem isn't just the sugar, it's also the lack of balance. These ice creams have little fiber or protein, so your blood sugar rises quickly and then crashes, leaving you tired and craving even more sweets. This roller coaster effect silently damages your metabolism and makes long-term control harder. I understand the joy ice cream brings. It's tied to happy memories, and it feels unfair to think of it as harmful. But there is hope. Homemade versions with frozen fruits, Greek yogurt, or natural sweeteners like stevia can give you that same creamy satisfaction while protecting your blood sugar. Eating sweets earlier in the day and pairing them with fiber and protein can also reduce the metabolic strain. And yet, as damaging as ice cream can be, it's still expected to be unhealthy. The real shock is that even a vegetable, something people believe is safe, can be the most dangerous food for blood sugar. That's what we're about to uncover next. 11. Industrialized juices. After ice cream, let's turn to something most people consider healthy: fruit juice. Walk into any grocery store and you'll see cartons labeled 100% fruit or all natural. It feels like a smart choice, but when it comes to blood sugar, industrial juices are far from innocent. Here's why. These juices usually strip away the fiber found in whole fruit. Without that fiber, sugar from the juice is absorbed almost instantly, sending blood glucose soaring. To make things worse, many brands add extra sugar, flavorings, or preservatives that increase the glycemic load and put extra strain on your liver. The truth is, drinking a glass of juice is often like drinking soda in disguise. You get the sweetness, but almost none of the protective nutrients your body actually needs. That's why even 100% fruit juice can leave you feeling tired, craving more sugar, and quietly moving closer to insulin resistance. I know juice has been marketed as a symbol of health and vitality. It's what many of us grew up seeing on the breakfast table. But real nourishment comes from eating whole fruits, where the fiber slows digestion and balances the sugar. Fresh juice with pulp is a better step. And for those looking to avoid the spike altogether, flavored water or herbal tea can refresh without harming your metabolism. And if fruit juice, so often mistaken for health, can secretly raise your blood sugar this much, just imagine the shock of discovering that even a vegetable, often praised as healthy, is actually the most dangerous food for diabetics. That's exactly what we'll reveal in the next section. 12. Candies and Sweets. We've just seen how fruit juices can trick us into thinking they're healthy, but now let's talk about something everyone already suspects: candies and sweets. They may look small, like just a bite-sized indulgence, but for your blood sugar, the impact is immediate. Here's why. Candies are almost pure sugar, stripped of fiber, protein, or any nutrients to slow absorption. That means the moment you eat them, glucose floods your bloodstream, and your pancreas has to release a surge of insulin to keep up. Do this often, and your cells begin to resist that insulin, which is exactly how type 2 diabetes takes hold. The danger doesn't stop there. Artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives in many candies disrupt gut health and fuel inflammation. And even so-called sugar-free candies aren't safe. They often contain sugar alcohols or artificial sweeteners that can still confuse your metabolism and cause digestive distress. I know candies are tied to comfort, holidays, celebrations, or even moments when you just want a little joy. It feels unfair to think of them as harmful, but here's the hope. Replacing them with fresh or dried fruits gives you natural sweetness, plus fiber, vitamins, and minerals. That way your body digests sugar more slowly, giving steady energy instead of dangerous spikes and crashes. And while sweets are an obvious culprit, the real shock is still ahead. Because there's one food hidden in plain sight, a vegetable people think is healthy, that is actually the most dangerous for your blood sugar. Let's finally uncover it in the next section. 13. Sandwich cookies. After candies and sweets, let's talk about another common snack many people keep in their pantry: sandwich cookies. They look innocent. 2 small biscuits with a creamy filling. But for your blood sugar, they can be a silent threat. Here's why. Most sandwich cookies are made from refined white flour and loaded with sugar. That combination digests rapidly, creating sudden blood glucose spikes. On top of that, the creamy filling often contains trans fats and refined oils, which not only increase inflammation, but also make your cells less sensitive to insulin over time. The challenge is how easy it is to overeat them. These cookies are designed to be addictive. You eat one, then another, and before you realize it, you've had a handful. With little to no fiber or protein, they don't keep you full, leaving you trapped in a cycle of cravings and crashes. I understand the comfort cookies bring. They remind us of childhood, family moments, or even a quick break during a stressful day, and that emotional tie makes them hard to resist. But the truth is, every bite pushes your blood sugar higher and silently strains your heart and metabolism. The hopeful part is you can still enjoy cookies, just in a better way. Homemade versions with whole grains, oats, nuts, and natural sweeteners give you the same satisfaction without destroying your health. And while cookies are an obvious sweet trap, what will surprise you most is that even a vegetable, often praised as healthy, can actually be the most dangerous food for blood sugar. That's what we're about to uncover in the next section. 14. White rice. After talking about cookies, let's turn to something even more common on dinner tables around the world: white rice. For many families, rice is comfort food, it's tradition, it's culture, and it feels impossible to imagine a meal without it. But when it comes to blood sugar, white rice can be more harmful than it seems. Here's why. White rice has a very high glycemic index, which means your body breaks it down quickly into glucose. Without fiber to slow absorption, this leads to sharp spikes in blood sugar, followed by crashes that leave you hungry and drained. Over time, frequent spikes like these strain your pancreas, weaken insulin sensitivity, and increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. The real challenge is emotional. Rice isn't just food, it's connection. It's what many of us grew up on, shared at family gatherings, or turned to for comfort. That's why it feels so unfair to think of it as harmful. But you don't have to give it up completely. Small changes make a big difference. Switching to whole grain options like brown rice, wild rice, or quinoa adds fiber and nutrients. Pairing rice with protein and vegetables slows down digestion, reducing the glycemic impact and keeping your blood sugar steadier. I know these changes may sound difficult at first, but think of them as gentle steps toward protecting your health while still honoring the foods you love. Moderation and balance are the keys. And yet, as much as white rice impacts blood sugar, it still isn't the biggest danger. Because, hidden in plain sight, there's a vegetable often praised as healthy that is actually the most dangerous for diabetics. Let's finally uncover it in the next section. 15. White potato. After talking about rice, let's move to another staple that shows up in almost every kitchen: white potatoes. They seem harmless, even comforting. Baked, mashed, or fried, potatoes are often at the heart of family meals. But for blood sugar, they can be more dangerous than they appear. Here's why. White potatoes are very high in starch, which the body breaks down quickly into glucose. Without fiber to slow the process, this causes blood sugar to rise fast and hard. And when potatoes are fried into French fries or turned into creamy mashed potatoes, the impact is even worse. Spikes in glucose, inflammation, and a heavier strain on your pancreas. The challenge is emotional as much as physical. Potatoes feel like comfort food. They're tied to family dinners, holiday tables, and simple moments of joy. That's why it feels almost cruel to think of them as harmful. But here's the hopeful truth. You don't have to give them up completely. Choosing sweet potatoes, or even cooled white potatoes that develop resistant starch, slows down digestion and reduces the glucose impact. And of course, keeping portions moderate makes all the difference. I know this can feel like a difficult shift, but think of it not as losing a food you love, but as learning a new way to enjoy it, while protecting your energy, your health, and your future. And still, as much as potatoes can raise blood sugar, they aren't the biggest threat. Because hidden in plain sight, there's a vegetable many people believe is healthy, but it's actually the most dangerous for diabetics. Let's finally uncover it in the next section. 16. White bread. After potatoes, let's move to another food that feels almost impossible to avoid: white bread. For many people, it's part of breakfast, lunch, and even dinner. Toast in the morning, sandwiches at noon, or a dinner roll at night. It feels simple, convenient, and familiar, but when it comes to blood sugar, white bread is far from harmless. Here's why. White bread is made from refined flour, stripped of fiber and nutrients. Your body digests it quickly, turning it into glucose almost immediately. That's why blood sugar spikes sharply after eating it. And with added sugars and refined oils often baked in, the impact only gets worse. Because it doesn't provide lasting satiety, hunger comes back soon after, leading you to eat more and repeat the cycle. The challenge is emotional too. Bread feels like comfort. It's tied to family meals, cultural traditions, and the warmth of sharing food. That connection makes it difficult to imagine life without it. But you don't have to give up bread altogether. You just need smarter choices. Whole grain or sourdough bread digests more slowly, especially when paired with protein and healthy fats, keeping blood sugar steadier and giving your body real nourishment. I know these adjustments can feel like small steps, but they add up to big protection for your health and energy. By choosing differently, you're not giving something up, you're gaining better control and peace of mind. And yet, as much as white bread harms blood sugar, it still isn't the ultimate danger. Because hidden among everyday foods, there's one vegetable, commonly seen as healthy, that is actually the most dangerous for diabetics. Let's reveal it in the next section. 17. Soft drinks. After bread, let's shift to something many people sip without thinking twice. Soft drinks. Whether it's a can of soda at lunch, a bottle from the vending machine, or a diet version you grab to feel safe, these drinks may feel refreshing in the moment, but inside your body, they trigger serious harm. Here's why. Soft drinks are loaded with sugar, often more than your body can handle in one sitting. That sugar rush floods your bloodstream, spiking glucose and forcing your pancreas to release a surge of insulin. Over time, this constant strain weakens your insulin sensitivity and fuels metabolic damage, and diet sodas aren't the safe alternative they claim to be. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose can disrupt gut health and confuse your body's ability to regulate blood sugar. The danger is how easy it is to underestimate them. A single can might seem harmless, but over weeks and years those daily habits add up, leading to weight gain, fatigue, cravings, and higher risk of diabetes complications. I understand the comfort soft drinks bring. They're tied to relaxation, celebrations, even childhood memories. Giving them up feels hard, but there are healthier swaps that still refresh, like water, sparkling water with a slice of lemon, or unsweetened teas. These not only protect your blood sugar, they also nourish your body instead of draining it. And yet, as harmful as soft drinks are, they're still expected to be unhealthy. The real shock is that even a vegetable, one often praised as healthy, can actually be the most dangerous food for blood sugar. Let's finally reveal it in the next section. 18. Corn, the most dangerous vegetable. We've walked through many foods that secretly harm blood sugar, but now it's time to face the one that surprises most people, corn. At first glance, it looks innocent. After all, it's a vegetable, often served at family dinners, barbecues, or even promoted as a whole food. But for your blood sugar, corn can be the most dangerous choice. Here's why. Corn is extremely high in starch and has a high glycemic index. That means your body breaks it down into glucose very quickly, leading to sharp spikes in blood sugar. And when corn is processed into chips, tortillas, or high fructose corn syrup found in sodas and packaged foods, the impact becomes even worse, causing insulin surges, weight gain, and inflammation. The hardest part is that corn feels comforting. A cob of corn at a summer cookout, popcorn at the movies, or corn tortillas in traditional meals, it's woven into our memories and culture. But beneath those moments of joy, it silently works against your health, making blood sugar control harder and pushing you closer to complications like nerve damage, vision problems, or even kidney strain. The hopeful truth is you don't have to eliminate corn entirely. Pairing it with fiber-rich vegetables, lean proteins, or healthy fats slows down absorption and reduces its damage. Choosing less processed forms and eating in moderation can help too. The key is awareness. Once you understand its hidden risks, you gain the power to protect yourself. And now that you know the vegetable most dangerous for diabetics, the next step is learning how to replace it with better options that still bring flavor, comfort, and stability to your meals. Let's explore those life-changing alternatives in the next part. So we've uncovered a truth that surprises many people. Corn, something most of us thought was harmless, is actually the most dangerous vegetable for blood sugar. Its high starch content and the way it quickly turns into glucose, especially in processed forms like chips and syrups, makes it a real threat. And as we've seen, it's not just corn. From soft drinks and chocolate drinks to white bread and sugary cereals, these everyday foods quietly push your blood sugar higher, fueling cravings, fatigue, and long-term damage. But here's the good news: you are not powerless. By simply choosing whole, unprocessed alternatives, like whole grains, fresh fruits, or homemade meals, you give your body the chance to heal, stabilize blood sugar, and regain energy. Even small changes, taken one step at a time, can make a huge difference in how you feel today and how you protect your future health. I know it's not easy. Food is more than fuel. It's memory, comfort, and tradition. But think of this as a journey, not a punishment. Every better choice you make is a gift to your body and your loved ones. And you don't have to walk this path alone. Our community is here to support and inspire each other. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these foods shocked you the most, and what swaps are you willing to try first? Share your story in the comments. It could give hope to someone else watching. And if this video spoke to you, subscribe and check out the other videos linked below for more life-changing health tips. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.